Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sports Card Madness brought to you by DraftKings and their app Pick Six. Sign up with code Madness6 for up to $50 in free credits. This is LZ. I'm here with Nick, and today we're going to be discussing a few different topics. First one being, we actually made headlines few weeks ago, New York Times. We did an episode around that one. And we have another topic that we've recently been discussing that made some other major news that we're going to get into.
Big news
We're
outlets.
We're going to be, news outlets,
Yeah.
plural. We are going to be talking about some trademark violations that we might have uncovered. And then finally, just some weird things that are happening with some slabs that a listener brought to our attention. So, Nick, where do you want to start, my friend?
Let's start with our good friends Dave and Adams, who love me, man. I've heard through the grapevine they're not pleased with me. So, Dave and Adams, if you're watching this, come up to me at the National and say hi, or take my debate challenge. I'd be happy to discuss bounties with you in a constructive way. But you won't do that because you have nothing to gain. However, what's happening now is when people Google Dave and Adams, they are going to see things like this article I'm going to talk about. So. David Adams was mentioned in Yahoo News not too long ago. And the article's premise was, is sports cards gambling? They were talking about the odds of packs and, they got into the bounties. And they specifically got into the Connor Bedard bounty. And if you guys have been, not glued into this, basically what happened was David Adams put out $1 million bounty, as they do for things. They love to just, overpay for bounties to pump things up. And the Connor Bernard card was part of it. $1 million for that card. The bounty expired or pulled or whatever you want to call it because Connor Bernard isn't as good as he was the first year or whatever, God forbid. So people didn't love that because now it's like the price is tanked because that bounty's not out there.
Hey, Nick, hold on a sec before you go further. It didn't expire. They just pulled it instead.
I don't know. It's like I'm hearing both sides. I'm hearing, oh, we announced an expiration. I didn't see one.
And I didn't see an expiration.
I don't think it was on all of social media accurately. Like, did they actually put this expire? Like a cigarette pack, like this expires here. So just you not knowing that is good enough for me that we all didn't know about the expiration.
Right.
But if you put a bounty out in your business, you're allowed to expire it. You just have to deal with the consequences of, doing that. So here you are. Now, a lot of people are pissed off. All the hockey guys, the Hockey Gong Show, everybody's like really aggravated. And this one of the hockey guys went to Yahoo News and they blew this article up. And now when you Google David Adams, you see their wax. You got this article right next to him. That stuff is going to start to matter to them because it's going to affect their sales. And so it's interesting. If they keep pissing enough people off with these bounties, more and more news articles will happen. Like, yeah, they can ignore me on Instagram and just shut it off or whatever. But I mean, they actually there are ads on this show. We can't control the ads. And people are sending me videos with David Adams ads on the YouTube channon
on our show.
Yeah. Unbelievable. And so they are unknowingly paying us to talk like this constructively about them. The whole thing's funny. If I were them, I would cool it on bounties for a year. Although they're probably making so much off the bounties, they probably won't, but we'll see. Anyway,
maybe there's a way to rethink bounties, right?
Yeah.
Like you can still say it and you have the marketing around it, but
disclose, be honest.
Just disclose it. I actually think that's like a win-win for them, right? Because no one cares. I mean, we see these things all the time. No one reads the disclaimers and all the fine print at the bottom.
Yeah, it's like we may or may not receive better allocation as a result of doing this bounty. Put that sentence in there.
Yeah,
Upper Deck sets the prices of these cards. We don't set the prices. But yeah, what about things like Ghostwrite that the prices haven't been set yet and you have a $30,000 bounty? But whatever, we won't go there. So anyway, this article talked about that bounty quite a bit. And so now when you Google Connor Bedard bounty, you have this negative article about David Adams. So I think the whole thing is funny. I hope David Adams has a good SEO team because they're getting cooked right now, and it's probably going to get worse as this thing starts to index. I mean, I know this stuff really well. So a couple more articles and It's going to be like a cigarette warning next to their packs. You know,
Hmm.
like is sports gambling right next to like the shopping on Google. It's crazy. So I go check it out. I'll drop a link to the Yahoo News article in the description so you guys can
Perfect.
check it out if you want.
Yeah, put it on there. All right, let's move on to the next one, which we uncovered, or I think it was a listener. A listener reached out,
Yeah.
maybe Nick, around um Panini, and they're actually violating some trademarks right now. Specifically, is it around football?
Yeah, so I don't want to say I'm not a lawyer at all, not even close. So I don't
Mm,
want to say they're violating a trademark.
yeah.
Um, suppose so. This is what's happening. There's a company that's been using the trademark Diamond Draft Kings or something like that. I forget what it is.
Diamond
Um,
Kings?
Yes, Draft Diamond Kings, and
Yeah.
they've been using it since
Hmm.
2003. They haven't been vocal about it or applied for the trademark until 2023, and Panini has started to have cards with this trademark on them. And they got into like a beef or a spat with the CFO. This is all secondhand that I'm getting this.
Yeah.
And they were like, come on, like, why are you doing this on trading cards? That's our trademark. And look, here's our trademark. And then Panini did this clever thing where they removed the stats on the back of the cards, which they think, again, I don't know trademark law. Okay. I'm not going to
Yeah.
pretend,
What does that
but
have to do with
they
anything?
think that that's a way to dance around the trademark. It's just like a picture. And if you have stats, it's a card and it's too close to what they're doing. So this company's primary business
Ooh.
is they are actually like a draft scouting company. So they both do scouting and they prep
Okay.
videos to be scouted. So they're kind of on both ends of it. Really cool company. Great guy. Talk to him, and they're really ticked off. And they're airing this out on Twitter or X, whatever it's called. And they hit me up, so I did a reel with them, and I just kind of asked the question. I'm like, does this violate trademark law? And I think a couple lawyers commented that it doesn't on the reel.
Okay.
Then like one said it might. So
Mm.
I think this is one of those like stay tuned type of things. Like it's your classic like big company doing something makes you mad. You show proof of something and it's like, please, big company, stop doing this. And it's tough because if you go after Panini, that's that bill, that legal bill is going to set you
Yeah,
back.
they got some lawyers.
Just to
Yeah.
get through discovery is going to cost you $1 million,
Hmm.
and that's not fun. Nobody wants to spend $1 million on
Hmm.
that. Neither does Panini, though. So they're going to do this dance, and I imagine nothing's going to happen. Everybody's just going to continue to be pissed off. But I thought it was pretty fascinating.
Did so you talked to the company, the draft, what is it? Draft, what is it again?
Diamond DraftKings.
Diamond
You know,
Draft Kings.
yeah, I'm going to make
I don't
sure.
think it's Draft Kings actually.
No, it's
Now
not
that
DraftKings. This
speaking
is
of Draft Kings,
speaking of
Nick.
DraftKings. You do that while I find the actual name.
So speaking of Draft Kings, everybody, if you would like to receive $50 in free credits, use our code Madness6. You have to put only $5 in to their DraftKings Pick 6 app, and you get $50 in credits. So you can 10x your deposit of $5. Madness6 is the
Yep.
code.
It's it's actually NFL Draft Diamonds, okay?
Ah,
I was getting
Draft
all messed up.
Diamonds.
Draft Diamonds.
Draft
And
Diamonds.
you know
Okay.
what? What the
Did
heck?
you
I will
when
I will hold on. I will just
yeah.
play the reel so everybody has full context.
Is Panini using someone's trademark illegally? This is Draft Diamonds, an NFL scouting company, and this is their trademark. Panini has been using Draft Diamonds in their cards, and when this company reached out to get them to stop, the CFO didn't do anything. Panini actually removed stats from the cards to dance around the trademark, but the Draft Diamonds attorney believes they still have a case. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out legally and in the public court of opinion.
All right, cool. You saw the reel. LZ, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, so you said you spoke to someone over at Draft Diamonds. Are they gonna like what sort of relationship do you have with them? Are they gonna kind of keep you abreast to
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
going on now?
we're just talking. Like again,
Okay.
I'm interested. I think this is
Hmm.
so this could come up someday with Fanatics or somebody, they use a brand or a type of card that pisses somebody off. So I think it's important for our industry to kind of know what happens here,
Yeah.
you know?
So my immediate gut thought here too with Panini is like almost like what do they have to lose? And I know they have plenty to lose, right? But like, they're losing all these licensing deals. And here's this small company saying, hey, you got to stand down. And Panini's like, screw it. We got 1 year left on the NFL. Like, we're just gonna we're just gonna let it rip. and see how things fall, right? Because
that would be wild.
I know, but Nick, like that's my gut reaction. That's my gut reaction to this is like, hey, you know what? We're gonna go out shooting, guns a blazing.
What the reverse? The reverse of that is they're 6 months from the license, and Michael Rubin's like, F it. Put Wemby's number on the cards. Let's go. And
does it anyways?
Does it 6 months early? I can see that happening too. Go. What are you gonna sue me? Like, dude was sued like 100 times before he was 16. He doesn't care.
No,
like,
it's true.
That's a true story. If you haven't seen I did a little documentary on Michael Rubin.
Man,
that's legit. He was hugging the sheriff and like getting lawsuits every day at the age of 16 because he didn't get snow one year and he owned a ski business. And I don't think he's afraid of Panini at all.
No,
so, not even a little.
No, not at all. All right, so let's get to the third topic, which was this issue. At least it was. I mean, this isn't like a rampant issue, but we did see a particular card, slabbed.
Oh yeah,
that had some issues with it. So tell everybody what's going on, and then I probably have some follow-up questions for you.
Yeah, this is kind of a newbie thing, right? So there's all different types of slabs. I don't want to 101 this to death, but you got your new stuff you see from PSA, right? It's very obvious. You just got it in the mail. Okay, go back a little bit. You got a blue flip label. Okay, that's a little bit different. Doesn't have the QR codes and has a hologram. It's good. Go even further back. They got even older red-looking labels, and some of them have a couple dots on them. And so what we're trying to figure out here, Nat actually got involved, which is awesome. Which is Nat's like, just we should all be thankful that like somebody that is a hobbyist owns this 800-pound gorilla because he actually cares, and he'll field questions like this from people. So there was a couple pop marks, and the label looked wrong. So the way they described...
What do you mean? All right, so I'm going to slow you down a little bit. Little bit of 101 here.
Yeah.
What do you mean by pop marks?
Well, all right, I'm holding up my favorite slab that's at my desk. For those on audio, this is the Joker. It's a PSA 10 Batman thing. I was a gift
Heath
from
Ledger
somebody.
Joker.
Yes. Yeah. So if you got a pop mark, it's going to be over here, like to the front. So there's a pop mark here. So top left for those on audio, and then middle. They were about 2 inches apart. There are tools you could press over it that puncture and pop the sonic seal. They'll leave behind. It's like the size of like a pin poking it, right? It's very clean because it's like a punch, and people will use that to pop it, swap the card, swap the label. Or like you can swap it with a reprint card. You could swap the label with anything, right? You could do whatever the sky's the limit for fraud. And so somebody was about to sell that, and I'm like, dude, that looks way off. I probably took it a little too far. I'm like, dude, that's fake. You better not. He went to the original seller 5 years ago. He thought it was good. He's like an OG, like 25-year guy. And so I was like, you know what? Before we put this in somebody's hands, they abbreviated something wrong on the label. So we got Nat involved. He looked at it. He thought it was good, and he thought it was a clerical error on the label. But he is questioning those pop marks. So we're going to send it in for a reholder and find out what happens.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's just a good lesson. If you're going to look at a slab, on the bottom right of most of the modern PSA slabs, you'll have like a little PSA in plastic. Okay. That's not on the older ones. That's one clear tell. You can tell if it's a good sonic seal. Look at all the edges. Is there something that just looks wrong? Like, where's Waldo? Like, is there a hole? Like, that shouldn't be there?
Question it.
But some of the old slabs do have 2 holes because they were put together like really haphazardly. So it's not even. So really, if you're truly in question, and you're about to buy something expensive from somebody, have an agreement with them and say, hey, go send that old slab in for a reholder before I buy this off of you.
Yeah.
And if they say no and they huff and puff about $100 expense and a 1-month turnaround, you probably don't want to buy from them anyway. No, send that in for a reholder. Get that reholder and looked at by PSA. If it makes it into the new slab, it's 99.9999% good. And you're good, and the deal goes down. So that's just my recommendation on it.
Yep. That's a good recommendation.
Cool.
Okay. All right. Let's get to the final question. This is so random. This is such a random question. It's a would you rather. All right. So you have to move into you're in the process of buying a home. All right. And you're given 2 choices, and you have to choose one. The first home is infested with rats in the walls.
Ooh. My wife's not moving in with me.
The second home is infested with snakes in the walls. You have to choose one of the homes.
Oh man,
which are you choosing?
As a man that comes from a line of rednecks, one side of my line is physicists, the other is rednecks from the Ozarks. Okay, that rat house is done. Okay, they are not clean animals. They carry a lot of diseases. Yeah. You know what's a really clean animal that's surprisingly clean? Snakes. You know, I'm going with snakes all day long. Snakes don't scare me at all. I could like sleep with snakes. Rats, that's pretty gross. My wife, I'm immediately divorced.
Nasty.
Immediate divorce. She's not coming with me. So yeah, dude. And you know what? You can eat snakes. So like again, my redneck roots, I'll smack those
things like
chicken. I mean, I will eat them until all the snakes are gone. I'll have a fire pit outside, and snake tastes really good.
Just skin them and eat them, man.
Yeah,
skin them.
Now, if they're venomous, now if you said it was filled with cobras, then I would probably choose the rats because you're just gonna die.
Yeah,
like you're not gonna survive that.
Die. Yeah,
but if it's like just garter snakes or like something stupid, like screw it, they get eaten.
Well, we know which one Indiana Jones is choosing. He's choosing rats.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I am also choosing the snakes. I also agree. I mean, rats they're just dirty, man. They're just dirty. They're leaving feces everywhere. They're just scratching.
Yeah, dude.
Especially they're in the walls. I said they're in the walls. So think of the scratching all night long that's going on in that house.
And it just
never ends.
At least the snakes, that's like white noise. Ends. I have a fan next to my bed from my fraternity days where I just couldn't sleep because there was so much partying in the house. And it's just like I had a fan on. Now we got fan apps. And like the snakes, I feel like that would be relatively relaxing.
Soothing? Would it be soothing?
I think so. They're hissing, and there's like slithering around. The rats, I don't want to hear that. Rats have sex around me.
Do we just come up with an app idea? Should we do a white noise snake app idea?
Well, the apps are out there. They just need to add a snake in the walls sound.
But we want to make money off of this, though. We got to create a whole new app with
animal sounds.
With animal sounds.
Snakes trapped in walls. Rats trapped in walls.
Here we go.
Oh, God.
Here we go.
Okay.
I love it. I feel like every third episode we come up with a business idea. Some of them are great and some of them are terrible. I think this one is actually right in the middle. I think this one's right in the middle, Nick.
Yeah. Easy to start. Not going to make a lot of money. Sell some ad space on my Snakes in the Walls app.
Oh, great. Snakes in the wall. Instead of snakes on the plane.
All right. Adios, everybody.
Right. Bye, everybody.
See ya.